All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown, day, I think, 109 by my count. It is June 23rd. Now, I'm going to be honest, I just spent the last couple days in the free zone, in the inland, let's just say, in the free zone again. And it was pretty wonderful. People are living life. Things are going back to normal. Hopefully they don't have a whole bunch of fatalities from living life as usual. Having a hamburger and some waffle fries and a huckleberry shake in a burger joint was quite wonderful. And yeah. Meanwhile, here in the wonderful city of Seattle, everything got crazy. And not just crazy. Whoops, I didn't do that. I meant to do the other one. There we go. People were getting shot in the Chaz or the Chad or the Chop or the Zone. I'm just calling it the Zone because I don't care what everyone else is calling it. It keeps changing. I just call it the Zone, and then people generally know what I'm talking about. People are getting shot. Yep. And then some of them are dying. Yep. Which is what Kyle said was probably going to happen several weeks ago. And now the city will grant itself permission to reassert control. Is that control needed? Well, if people are shooting each other, then yeah, fine. Like, yeah. I mean, that's kind of why people pay taxes. Is so that there aren't, like, just thugs running the streets gunning people down. Now, that doesn't seem controversial to me, but because everyone's mad at the police because there are these certain instances where they do a bad job, they want to disband police entirely. And again, I get it. Like, that might be a method of controlling law enforcement, but in the interim, you get things like this. People shooting each other in the street. They get in fights, someone's stupid, and they decide to pull out a gun and then shoot somebody else because they're mad at them. Now, I'm not saying that wouldn't happen if the police had a presence there, but they are literally surrounding a police precinct. Now, again, that doesn't mean that the police would do anything. I had it on good authority that in a town in Idaho, one of the best places to drag race was right outside the police precinct. Why? Because there's not actually any police there. They're all out doing things, right? So, you know, it's a tomato. It's a little here or there. But, and we're taking 99. I might try to take I-5 tomorrow just to show you how bad it is. So, over my extended 4-day weekend, where I exited where I went into the free zone, the King County went phase 2. I have that. I at least have that on from a text message or something. King County went phase 2. Now, again, I think I've already said this. This is adorable. Like, you can declare phases all you want. I'm saying we've been like phase 2 for at least a month, based on just traffic. Just traffic tells me we are way past phase 2. Now, there's a certain level of enforcement involved in declaring a phase. Like, the Safeco field can't open and do an event. It's relatively easy to shut down Safeco field. You can't shut down me having a house party. You can try, and you could maybe arrest some people, but, like, people will go do things that violate your phasing restrictions, and there's a certain level where you don't know about it, there's a certain level where law enforcement don't even care about it, and then there's basically nothing you can do about it. So they can say we're in phase 2. I say we're in, like, phase 3 or 4, or whatever that actually means. And again, we're seeing an increase in positive cases in terms of testing, but our fatalities are down, and that I believe that's nationwide. You know, fact check me if I'm wrong, but it's like all these cases are up, and Trump was basically joking about it, like, well, no, we don't want more testing. More testing will mean that we have a higher number, and that's not good. It's like, yeah, we have higher testing, but then we have a lower fatality rate. Like, it's not the crisis that we were led to believe it is. And I'm continuing to see this stupid double standard of, oh, Trump held a rally in Tulsa and look at all these people and they're not wearing masks. Okay, I can find you hours of video of people rioting and protesting and demonstrating where some of them are wearing masks, some of them aren't. They're gathered in huge mobs of people, tens of thousands of people. And yet I'm not hearing a lot of outrage about that. Like, they are all endangering each other, aren't they? I mean, I was told if we gather in large numbers and we don't take the appropriate precautions that you're going to kill grandma. So again, this goes back to, I think, the last installment of this, whatever this thing is that I record every day or so. There is this problem. There is this institutional dysfunction happening where the CDC could say, you know, don't take Tylenol for a headache. And I'm going to say, no, I will, because I have taken Tylenol for a headache and it works, right? Like, you're telling me things and insisting that, like, there's all these negative outcomes that are possible. Sure, they might be possible, but then they, like, don't happen. And so we disrupt our entire lives. We basically destroy the entire global economy in order to preserve the lives of a few people. A few people, and I mean a few. When I say hundreds of thousands of deaths, that's technically a few people in terms of the amount of other crazy stuff we allow to go on. Our suicide rates, our homicide rates, our drug overdose rates, like bee stings. I mean, it's like the only thing we ever cared about stopping was COVID-19. We implemented these extreme measures to stop it, but we don't implement extreme measures to stop anything else. It's just bizarre. Like, it's just bizarre. And then this is why people get cynical. Not that I am, of course. I'm not cynical at all. But, like, why would you continue to listen to these institutions and these organizations that have just been dead wrong? And like I said, just spending a few days in the free zone, girls that jog, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Everything seems normal, and people aren't really that freaked out, and all of this stuff is sort of like irritating to them. Like, they're like, yeah, I'm over it because everything's fine here. Well, yeah, everything's fine here. You're not in Manhattan, right? You're not in New York City where they basically just ransacked the place. And then they're kind of like, oh, well, we'll deal with those problems when it gets here. I'm kind of frightened because it's like, oh, no, it's coming here. All of this shit, this pandemonium, all of this stuff, the identity politics and all these things, all these problems are coming here, wherever they are, sooner than you think. It's going to come into, and I know I'm going to sound a little Rush Limbaugh, but it is going to come into your public schools. It's going to come into your local businesses. It's going to come into your, it's just going to come into Main Street in the middle of the country. And all you have to point out is how zany everything got in the last couple of months to point out that living in cities, and I live in one that is currently having open insurrection, so trust me, I know what I'm talking about. This is all incredibly unattractive to live in. Never mind how fucked up it was before. I've said this before. Seattle was already on the brink before all this shit happened. It got so bad, I've never seen it this bad. People just shooting up on the fucking sidewalk. Just people living in filth. Just pissing and shitting in the streets. Just out of control. It was never this bad. Now you have this. And I've hammered on this point before. The lost revenue from tourism and conventions and events and festivals and everything else is just, see, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, care about that more than you care about her. I know, man. I hear you. See, just craziness. Just craziness. The city was already on the brink, and I am frightened that this place is going to turn into like Gotham City, except we don't have a Batman. to like come in and police anything. And the police won't police anything, apparently. They don't want the negative press. And so here we are. Like, just watching the revenue not flow into the city and everyone pretending like, oh no, everything's gonna be fine. Is it? It's like, I just don't think I don't think people have really realized, fully, internalized how horrific all of this shit has been on the psyche of all the people who live in these cities. Like, I feel like all of our cities are about to become ghost towns. I mean, some people will stay, some people will come, but like, honestly, I'm thinking about punching out. I mean, why stay here? Like, they're not hiring for and paying high-end tech jobs. They import people from overseas to do that. Yes, I understand how that sounds when I say that. All of the fun, the culture, that's all canceled. That's all done. Like, my Book of Mormon showing is not happening, right? Okay. Can't have that. There's no baseball. There's no football. There's no soccer. There's no bumbershoot. There's no, there's no whatever concert you wanted to see. There's no insurance convention coming here, filling up the hotels and filling up the restaurants. I mean, hell, even the sex workers have to be taking a hit during all of this. Again, see, I'm rambling. Again, spending a few days in the free zone was like, man, remember the before time when you just lived normally, and now coming back into the city where I'm watching everybody basically pretend like everything's going to go back to normal any day now. I don't think so. People are going to keep hurting each other and criming on each other in the chop, and then the police are going to come in, and they were forbidden from using, chemical dispersants like pepper spray and CS gas, so tear gas. They are going to crack skulls, and it's going to get real ugly, and it's going to get worse. And the mayor is, so weak, she can't have that negative publicity. And then, of course, the police chief doesn't need that headache either, so she's not going to want to do that. And these people are not going to leave the chop without force. I mean, you can use other methods too, but it's going to take force at some point to remove the most committed, and then you get the negative, viral videos of Seattle PD hurting people. Well, you hit a point where the people who live there and run businesses there need to be able to live there and run their businesses. And what we're seeing now is this insane mixture of, there's literally like racial segregation, there's violence against individual people, they sort of have like roving gangs of enforcers, like censoring people, kicking people out, assaulting people, all this garbage that allegedly has something to do with Black Lives Mattering. And I keep putting it that way on purpose, because they matter in the present, like they're mattering now, right at this moment. But what this has to do with Black lives having value, I'm losing connection with it, and I'm really trying. So that means a lot of other people gave up a month ago. You understand that, right? And again, how this looks is these cities are lawless, chaotic, it's all bedlam, and the countryside is peaceful, where law and order works, and your local police aren't riot cops in body armor. Your local police are people you know. You sold a car to one of them, right? Like, they live down the block. It's not the same thing as this urban policing where you have all these people who you've never met before in, carrying shields and sticks, and what in the hell are you doing? Now I'm back in Washington, and I'm dealing with Washington drivers, and I'm reminded about how much I don't like Washington drivers. You guys are not good at this. You're really bad at it, actually. And it really hits you coming down Snoqualmie Pass, or going over Snoqualmie Pass, either direction. you see it. You go, oh my God, get in the, move over a lane, you dummy. What are you doing? I hate your guts. Okay. Oh, see, there we go. Is that another? I mean, it's okay to take a nap somewhere if you want to, but it doesn't exactly look like a nap. That looks like somebody, yeah. Okay, I think you know where I'm coming from. I don't know, I think I think I might punch out of here and move to, I don't know, move to Idaho or something. Anyways, that is enough from me for one day. Bye.